Well, Doom 2016 and Doom SnapMap is officially 5 years old, which is crazy that I've been playing this game for 5 years straight and I still haven't slowed down at all. Sure, I take breaks here and there, but I'm always going to be back to this game. For this video, I thought about taking you guys down to memory lane and talk about my experience of using Doom SnapMap from the launch day experience to the current version. And yeah, so let's get into it. Maybe I'll probably talk about the future of Doom SnapMap too. Doom SnapMap already got my interest back when it was revealed at E3 because I'm a huge classic Doom fan and I thought it was cool that they were trying to create a spiritual successor to the WADs that the classic Doom community has made throughout the years. And it's pretty rare to see a AAA game that will include an editor because the only two I can think of that are high budget first person shooters are Halo and Far Cry. At first glance I was like, wow, they're trying to create a community of map makers for the future of modern Doom, but after the release of Eternal, I think we all know what happened to Doom SnapMap for Eternal, so I'm not gonna go there. On launch day, my god, Doom SnapMap was rough. I remembered I was already disappointed with certain things already, like the 2 weapons only. I remember the features that we had were pretty limiting, like not being able to set items to respawn at a certain timer on the spot, no hell modules, missing weapons from the campaign and multiplayer, stuff like that. I still remember the days where people would bait people to play their maps by hosting the popular maps, like that one survival map that id Software made. I remembered people would use that map to get people to play that particular map, but once you have a full lobby going on, you switch the map to your own map. And I think I did do that back in the days multiple times too. I'll admit that. When I was trying to figure out how to create the best Doom survival experience with what we got at launch day. Despite of having a disappointing first impression, I had hope for the future of Doom SnapMap. I still remember trying to find whatever map was worth playing, and I was also using the editor just to make classic Doom remakes with all the UAC modules we had at that time. Back then, I was all about making classic Doom remakes. That was my thing, and it was pretty much like my signature design when I think about that. But I've definitely evolved from that, which I'll eventually talk about. One of the cool things about the launch day experience was when people were making custom geo stuff. I remembered watching one of Bethesda's live streams, and I saw a map where it was a deathmatch map made out of cartoon blocking boxes, or player blocking volumes is what the blocking boxes used to be called. The map was called Cartoon Land, and this blew my mind because I thought like people already hacked into Doom SnapMap, but no. This guy was just using a bunch of blocking volumes to create his own geometry, and I thought that was so cool. And eventually I got exposed to more of this design by discovering other authors that take advantage of this technique. Pigdog, Bloodshot, Nico Dimas, and even Doomer kind of messed with that thing back in the days too, and I was starting to dig this mapping technique because it was refreshing compared to the prefab modules we had at that time. I wasn't completely on board of the custom geo train yet because things were still limiting, and Doom SnapMap did get like a small update where we did get like the window prop, and I remembered Bloodshot made a map by just using that prop to showcase more of the custom geo design for the early days of Doom SnapMap, and that was cool too. But it still didn't make me want to get into custom geo mapping. But once free update 2 hits, things started to change. I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. I think the free update 2 era was the beginning of the glory days of Doom SnapMap, and I'll eventually tell you why. Free update 2 was awesome. So much new content for SnapMap, hell modules. We had features where we could totally make it feel like the official campaign and not feel like a straight up discounted version of it. And the grid room inclusion was awesome. We had so many new props, and when you add in the grid room inclusion, id Software and Escalation Studios basically wanted us to get into custom geo mapping, and that's what I did. I still remembered my very first custom geo map I made, which was Icon of Sin 2016, and that was me trying all of this new feature to its usage. And the map isn't that great in today's times. Like, I look back at it and I kind of laugh at it, but it was such a fun experience making that map where, that was kind of like my gateway to custom geo mapping. I made so many stuff during that time, and this is where, the fun zone started to kick in for Doom SnapMap. And I was starting to realize there were other mappers that were taking advantage of this custom geo stuff. Void Runner, Wadsta, Spindleshank, Behemoth Programmer, and maybe Shades Master, if I can recall properly, because I know he started popping off during the free update 4 days, but I'll hope he'll comment on this video for clarification. So there was basically an unofficial custom geo movement going on during the free update 2 days, and when I look back at those times, I think it was important for SnapMap to have that, because I think if it weren't for the free update 2 guys taking advantage of the custom geo stuff, we probably wouldn't have mappers that took advantage of the free update 4 content like Fluppy, Z-Manzilla, Taylorhead, Dario Butelli, guys like those. My biggest achievement during the free update 2 era was creating City Survival. That map was basically me finally figuring out the right formula to create a survival experience that I would like to see in a Doom game, and I made that map to really stand out from other custom geo maps at that time, because there were many hell themed or cartoon themed custom geo maps back in those days because of the limiting textures and content. So City Survival was unique for having a cyberpunk look while taking advantage of the free update 2 content, and it went through so many balance changes because I played so much of that map solo, co-op with friends and randoms to really perfect the balance of that map, and I think I finally did it years later. Another groundbreaking thing I did for SnapMap during these times was, I think me, Wadsta, and Pigdog probably created the very first collaborative project for Doom SnapMap. It was called the Stain of Hanapku, and all of us did various arenas while taking advantage of the free update 2 content. And here's a fun fact: Void Runner was supposed to be part of that project, but he declined because I think he was busy working on his next project, so Wadsta ended up doing 2 areas of that map. When you think about Doom SnapMaps and how they're made nowadays, it's a collaborative thing now. So I think it's awesome that me, Wadsta, and Pigdog pretty much predicted the future for SnapMap. I really do miss these times, it was such a fun time for Doom SnapMap, and all of the people who used Doom SnapMap were high off of free update 2 content update, and we couldn't wonder what the future updates would be like. Maybe I should make a new map that'll be a straight throwback to the free update 2 content in the future, who knows. Free update 4 and 5 is also another glorious time for Doom SnapMap, and just like free update 2, the content update was so massive, and now we could really do crazy stuff, and I definitely remembered seeing way more mappers starting to get heavily involved in the scene, and people were just releasing quality maps left and right, and it was just so awesome to see Doom SnapMap finally getting more quality maps from quality authors. Free update 5 wasn't as massive as 4, but it was still nice to have the Lazarus modules and quality of life features for the editor, so that was that. I personally had a great time with free update 4, but eventually I started to run out of ideas and it affected my enjoyment while mapping, but I definitely had a lot of great moments without a doubt. I made I think like 3 campaigns during those times, and I'm super proud of of them, especially Secluded, which is me trying to be ambitious as a game designer. And I also enjoyed doing the collaborative projects with Void Runner because I enjoyed doing that with Wadsta and Pigdog during the free update 2 days. When free update 5 came around, this was where I was starting to really get burnt out on making snap maps, and I think like my best thing that I made at that time was probably my classic Doom campaign, knee deep into knee deep into SnapMap or something like that. It's basically like a little homage to the first episode of classic Doom. But yeah, around like free update 5 times I pretty much got burnt out, and then I stopped making levels for Doom SnapMap, but I came back to it because I just have too much passion for SnapMap, so I just couldn't resist. Free update 4 and 5 to me was really the definitive experience for Doom SnapMap, because this was where the editor itself was finally competent enough for people to go crazy with their imagination. And I remember there were so many mappers trying to promote, like, you know, their work, and it was awesome to like, you know, see all these mappers coming into the scene, and also just awesome to see mappers I already recognized from like the previous, like, you know, era of SnapMap just going crazy with the new content update. So it was awesome to experience all of this from the perspective of somebody who used SnapMap since day one. Now let's talk about the current times of Doom SnapMap. It still is pretty much like free update 4 and 5, but with modded content, which is really cool because I have no idea how Doom SnapMap managed to get modded assets, but it's awesome to see all of this stuff that the modders are doing. It's basically like a content update that never happened, and it also gives mappers the ability to get more creative with their stuff. When I think about it, people complained about Doom SnapMap not being as good as mods, but it eventually, you know, started adapting mods in the future, so isn't that funny? When it comes to the modded assets, I pretty much stay away from it because I like the convenience of wanting to map whenever I feel like it, and I just don't want to bother people by giving them requests. And I've used Doom SnapMap enough to know that it's very bug friendly, so I'm not gonna bother discovering new bugs. So I'd rather just stay with the vanilla content where I have a better knowledge of the technical side of things. I did make one map that took advantage of some of the modded assets, and it was fun, but I found out it broke my co-op functionality, and I didn't like that since I always want my maps to be playable for both solo and co-op experiences. Despite of Doom SnapMap having mod support, it's just a shame how little people use Doom SnapMap nowadays compared to the old days, especially around the launch day to free update 2 times. I remember, like, during the launch day, man, the moment you make a map and you try to find it in the newest category, it was so hard to find because there were so many people making maps at that time. But nowadays you can easily find your map as long as the server doesn't glitch out. And this server issue, man, where like the maps are delayed, is just absolutely terrible. This was never a thing during the older times, but every time I see that glitch happens, it makes me feel like Doom SnapMap is on life support. And I think eventually Doom SnapMap will probably get its main server shut down in some years. There are older games getting their server shut down, like the Halo games on the Xbox 360, Rainbow Six Vegas series, so I do believe it is possible for Doom SnapMap to be completely gone, and that's just terrible news, obviously. I think it's important for us to keep on making levels, keep on playing levels, and, you know, trying to be vocal as possible, so id Software knows that there's a group of people who are really passionate for Doom SnapMap and Doom 2016. SnapMap has been an awesome experience to me since launch day, and this is something I feel like I cannot experience in other games. I can't tell you this kind of story, and that's what makes Doom SnapMap stand out, and it's really the thing that will make Doom 2016 shine during the Eternal era. And as a great game Doom Eternal is, Doom Eternal will never ever offer me anything I've experienced in Doom SnapMap, period. When Doom 2016 came out, SnapMap was the weakest thing, but I knew in the long run, Doom SnapMap was going to shine real big, and that's what just happened. I guess I'll end this video with like a little funny thing here. I sometimes think like a what if scenario, because Doom SnapMap is such a niche thing for Doom, so I think about living in an alternate reality where that's not the case. What if Doom SnapMap was the biggest thing on Twitch? It's bigger than sports, you name it. What if all the well-known mappers are A-class celebrities like Voidrunner, Watsta, Shadesmaster, Bloodshot? For example, I can imagine Voidrunner can't go to a restaurant without being harassed by a bunch of fanboys and fangirls. Watsta getting sponsored by the big esport organizations like Curse or CLG, and he gets paid 100 grand for a map he publishes. Shadesmaster is going out on dates with well-known female celebrities like Dua Lipa or Ariana Grande. Bloodshot becomes the most recognized level designer in gaming. Stuff like that, you know. I just want to live that lifestyle for probably just about 3 days at least, just to see what it would be like, rather than, like, you know, knowing that Doom SnapMap is pretty much a dead entity for id Software, and knowing there's a possibility that Doom SnapMap will probably be gone in a few years. But with that said, you know, no matter what, guys, just keep on supporting Doom SnapMap. We gotta keep its legacy going on in the next 5 years, and thank you for watching, guys.